We've had this old toolbox kicking around out in the sheds forever. And it's got all kinds of old tools in it. And we've been taking the tools out of it and using them here and there and putting them back and adding new tools and putting the old ones back in there. So some of the really old antique ones I've pulled out and have been using, like the planes and the chisels and stuff, but there's other stuff in here that just lives in here because this is where we've always put stuff like extra long drill bits and all that kind of stuff. So today it's kind of cold outside and it's a really cool old chest and there's some neat old tools. I thought I'd just delve into this thing and clean it out and see what's here and maybe organize things a bit so I know what I've got and try and date a few things on it. And the box itself is fairly pleasing size. Aesthetically, it's really quite nice. You can see that it's got a tin top and the corners have been kind of folded over really nice and neat, all the corners. And that's probably really helped to preserve it. I have no idea how old it is, but I'm assuming it's probably close to 100 years old. Let's take some measurements here. It's about 28.5 by, we'll say 14.5 by 16.5. Yeah, by 16.5. That's some pretty nice cast iron handles. It's heavy. It probably weighed about 75 pounds or so with all the tools in it. These pieces of trim look like they're about they're approximately 2 inches. The way things are overlapped, they're nailed. You can see the nails here come out a little bit. Looks like just finishing nails to hold stuff together and whatever these. Those would be shingle nails. I don't know what these are. Some kind of flat top nails holding stuff together there. No super fancy joinery, but you can still see the paint. This is a really old color of paint. I've seen this on some of the old buildings, and on the internet you see some old toolboxes with that color of red and that color of green. It's kind of a flat sort of, I don't know, it's really got a pretty aesthetic to it anyways. It's got a lock. It looks like it's tin or steel or something. It's not brass anyways. So we're going to open things up and see what's inside. It'll be just a mess of different kinds of tools, and yeah, we'll kind of organize stuff and see what's in there. So the top comes back, it just kind of rests on itself there or up against the wall when you open it. See the kind of hinges they have here, just regular hinges. Like I say, we've got a mix of modern tools and antique tools in here, and things are kind of a schmoz, so we'll see what's here. There's some handwriting here that says breast, drill, chuck, spring, something or other. I guess there used to be a drill there, or a drill spring for the breast drill, spare one. You see the locking mechanism here, how it's set into the top and set into there. And gray paint on the inside. Kind of looks almost like porch floor enamel. I'm not sure, but that's the kind of color it looks like to me. Got a bunch of drill bits and odds and ends, so we'll get everything pulled out of here and see what's in here. I cleaned out all the holes here, just give you some idea of how big the holes are. They're 10 by 3 inches deep by 3 inches wide, and that one's close to 6 inches That one's just under, or just over 4. This one is almost 14 and just over 4. So having those cleaned out, this is kind of what came out of them. These are just modern spade bits that we just had in the pile. And this is a modern twist drill. And this one looks like maybe somebody cut the end off it to adapt it to a regular drill, because all the rest of them have these tapered type ends on them for the old-fashioned drills. These have numbers on them. This is a 4, 5, 6, that's a 7, that's a 12, and that's a 13, I think. It's upside down, but these have, I think the sizes on them in 16ths or whatever. I can't read it out here. I don't have my glasses. Just stamped on the shaft of the drill. And then these would probably be metal drills that are for the brace drill. And then we have countersink. I'm assuming these are reamers. Another countersink. I think that's a screwdriver head. And these are some funny, weird twist drills. I'm assuming that's what those are. This is a center, like you'd make a center for on a lathe. I have no idea what that is. That looks like a screwdriver end. I think that's a Jacob's chuck adapter, and these are nail sets for setting your finishing screws, or finishing nails. And then there was a leather punch, some leather in there, some files probably for sharpening drills and sharpening saws and drill bits and stuff. I don't have a clue what this is. Some kind of drill with a whole bunch of little teeth on the side of it. This is some fancy little drill bit. And a bunch of hacksaw blades. Miller Falls butt gauge still in the box. This is, let's see if I can get it open here. There we go. This is for figuring out your measuring door hinges and stuff, I guess. There's a couple of adjustments. Those guys there will move in and out, and so will that guy there. And it's for making miters or mortise and tendons, I guess, or marking out door hinges or whatever. I've never used one, but anyways, the box is still in pretty good shape, so it probably didn't get used a whole lot. There's this old adjustable valve facing tool instruction bit or booklet. I seem to remember that thing being around some point in the past, but I have no idea where it is. If it's still even around. Just some junk leather and odds and ends. Some newer drilling material, drill bit stuff for hole saws, and these are for, well, more modern because we got the plastic there, but these are for pilot holes for screws. And it's a modern plumb bob. Yeah, so that's what was in there. Just kind of interesting odds and ends. I'll stick them back in where they came from and start digging in the bottom and see what comes out. Here I got the drill bits and files returned. I kept out all of the more modern stuff that I'll put someplace else and go through it, and some of this is junk. So we got everything cleaned out of the bottom here. You'll notice that the wood on the bottom is run along the short axis instead of the long axis. The way those pieces of wood are, I think that's for strength. That would be probably a lot stronger running your wood that way than the lengthwise for all the weight that's in one of these tool chests. And you can see these leather straps here. That's what would have kept the lid from coming all the way open originally, but they haven't really stood the test of time like some of the other things in here. There was a whole bunch of old leather harness and rawhide and pieces of stuff like that in the bottom that I pulled out. And there used to be some sheets of lead in here that were a 1/4 of an inch thick and about as big as sheets of paper. I don't know what they used them for, but they were in there at one time. We got some of our bigger drill bits, and we've got another file, and we've got a really beautiful draw knife that my grandfather stamped his initials in, great-grandfather, and some brace drills, some cement working trowels, a snake that's probably not real super old, some nice old hammers. That's probably for compressing rings on a cylinder to put it back into like a piston to put it back into the block so that it will, so the rings are compressed so it goes back in the hole. That's what I'm trying to say. And then this is a adjustable drill bit. This thing here, it's got a little circular wheelie on the end, and I think it's for maybe drawing circles, like a compass for laying them out, I'm guessing. We got one bit here that's a 1/2 inch bit, and it looks like it's got a Morse taper on one end that's kind of been butchered a little bit. It's the only thing in here with a Morse taper type looking end. Everything else is straight, or this old-fashioned style, whatever you call that. This little guy here has got an end for holding different bits, and then there's holes in here, and there's actually little tiny reamer bits in there for reaming holes, just stored in the handle for, I don't know, maybe valve guides, I don't know, but anyways, that's what that is. I got some pretty cool old chisels here for shaping steel. You don't see too many, trying to get it to focus on there. You don't see many chisels shaped like that anymore, but that's an old-fashioned way of cutting into steel and shaping it. It's with those guys. Yeah, this big breast drill here, I'm going to stop, put everything back in, and show you it, because it's kind of the gem of all of this stuff, so we'll have a good look at it. And there's a whole bunch of these things in here. I don't have a clue what they are. They're not flat. They've got all these little ribs on them, and I don't know if they're junk or whether they were something special, or I got nothing. I don't know. So I'm going to put all the old stuff back in there except for that that one big drill there, and throw some junk out and put the modern stuff in somewhere else. I hope you can see this. This part here has either been replaced or has been worn pretty flat. And you can hear there's a ratchet clicking in there. And there's an adjustment inside here. Put it all the way at one end. That seems to lock everything up. The first click seems to go pretty good both ways. The second click. Freewheels. It's like a neutral. Oh, wait. It's hard to see that, but it goes one way. It ratchets one way and freewheels the other. This chuck isn't, there we go. There we go. So if you're drilling in a confined space and you don't have full swing with your arm, you only have to go halfway. Let's do the next one. And it's the reverse. Going the other way. And I think that's a slower speed. I think it's actually got 2 speeds here. That's locked up. Oh, maybe not. There's a that's the other speed. So this lever here changes the speed. It's about, I don't know, twice as fast. Anyways, that's a pretty fancy drill. I'll see if I can read the patent date on this. Right hand double, right hand, left hand ratchet. I'll stop here and have a look, see what's going on. Yeah, I tried to read the patent date on it, but it's really hard to, and the picture isn't showing up so good here either. But I think it's a Yankee number 55. And it says something about Phila, Phila, PAUSA. So PHILA, PAUSA. Patent something. July, August. Anyway, pretty cool old drill anyway. It does more stuff than I'm smart enough to figure out. And I'm assuming that this end will come off and that longer end will probably screw on there to make it longer. The one that I put back in the box. I guess. I'm not going to take it apart and find out, but I'm assuming that's what that one's for. So I got things in there a little tidier. So there was originally some other tools in here that I haven't been keeping in this box because I've been using them. I'll just pull them out and show you what used to be in here as well. These used to live in the box too, but I kept them out of there because some of them get used from time to time in the shop. And anyways, I love these old squares. The rosewood handles and brass fittings. It's got my great-grandfather's initials stamped in it. It's graduated, but it's pretty hard to read the numbers on there anymore. As nice as this square is, it's actually not super accurate. Probably because it's been banged around a bit. But it's pretty, but I don't use it if it's really important for something to be square. And these have all got the rosewood and the brass on them. They're really pretty. This is some kind of scraper, I guess. It's got a ball pivot on it there. You can loosen it off and get whatever angle you want. And there were numerous just wood chisels in there, various shapes and sizes and condition, and I don't think any of them were super fancy good. This is a Stanley little, I guess it's a spoke shave. I don't know. It's got a flat and then a curved rounded blade on it. Stanley number 60. And then this old girl here. It's a nice old plane. It's a Bailey. And I love this thing when it's working. Looks like it's got a Stanley blade in it. And it is a number 5.5. There's patent numbers in there. I don't know what the date is, but It's got the grooved bottom. And then this guy here, it's a block plane, and it's a Union number 110. Nothing fancy, just an old block plane. It's kind of been dinged up a little bit, but it still works good. And then there's this guy here. This must be a newer model type plane. Record, R-E-C-O-R-D, record, I don't know. Anyways, it's a nice little block plane too. It's got a little bit more adjustments and bells and whistles on it. And if you look really close, you can see that the top part of this, you can open it and close it to adjust the throat for how much cutting area there is. Unfortunately, it's chipped a little bit here where the backing is, but this looks like a newer model than some of this other stuff. But anyway, it was in the box too. So yeah, that was that's the toolbox, and we've got another box that isn't quite as spectacular as this one. There used to be a bunch of hand saws in there too, but they've all been moved to another box, and I don't think anything there is real special. But anyway, yeah, if you've got old tools or something like that that you don't know what it is, or I'm certainly no expert on these things, but I like seeing old tools, and if somebody knows what something is, or if I told you something wrong, you say, no, that's not what that is, well, by all means, let me know, because this is just all real cool stuff that's kind of just been passed down, and you know, the guys that knew what it was, they're gone now, so you can't even ask them. So that's we're left left to our own devices. Anyways, thanks for watching.